There has been underinvestment in Fife schools for years, and as teachers we know that, we see that, and we suffer, as do the pupils. Our children only get one chance at childhood. Many of them won't get another chance at education.
Fife can't afford to lose a single staff member, not one support staff member, not one teacher, not one principal teacher, not one deputy. Can't afford to lose any more. We have teachers working the equivalent of a day and a half extra per week, unpaid. You know, an absolutely flabbergasting number of staff said no, there aren't enough teachers and other staff in our schools to support the learning of all students. 97% said that there were not enough. 97%. 79% of teachers saying that there aren't enough resources to support curriculum delivery, not enough resources, you know, simple classroom resources to support quality learning and teaching. And to me, that sounds more like the profile of a developing country than the profile of Scotland, part of the 6th richest economy in the world. So there's something going badly wrong there with the decision making politically that results in that sort of scenario. Teachers in Fife are paying for classroom supplies out of their own pockets.
Education is one of the most important services that the Council provides. It's ultimately about our future, ensuring that young people have the best possible opportunity to thrive in a challenging world. And ultimately, 44% of the Council budget is spent on education for a very good reason, and we believe that we must continue to support this. Too many pupils as well face mental health challenges, and too many staff are stretched towards breaking point. Time and time again, I'm told that one of the best things we can do is ensure that there are more PSAs in our classrooms.
Fife spends less than many councils per head for secondary pupils, and I can tell you that Fife spends the least per pupil in the whole of Scotland on primary school pupils. More additional support needs, more needs that are unmet, and a budget that's simply not big enough. So I say to the elected members, I believe that teachers, other school staff, parents, and most importantly, our pupils deserve better. So my question to the elected members is, do they? Thank you.
We're talking about the education levels and the violence levels. What about the safety levels? I mean, we're repeatedly seeing the same stories of children with additional needs leaving school grounds, and the schools are not taking accountability. The Education Board doesn't take accountability. Who is there to take accountability for these things?
Children's needs are changing. The school environment needs to change in order to respond to the fact that children's needs are changing.
I feel that swimming lessons are frivolous spending, and I feel that lessons are frivolous spending. When we're sitting here talking about the safety of our children that are in the schools, of the fact of a child going that far away from a school, we're needing to make sure that we're looking after the essentials for our children, for the welfare of them. And the fact that people are having to buy their own whiteboard pens to be able to deliver, they don't have enough classroom jotters. It's third world stuff. So I plea to our elected members, don't spend our money unwisely on things that our children don't need, and help them to be protected.
But if I was in David's shoes, I would be pushing the exec director to get this money spent as soon as possible and make sure that those teacher numbers are brought up to 2023 levels.
With AI and the development of that is going to change radically the way we employ, we work, and all medicine, all aspects of that. And our kids need to be able to actually learn the skills and the technology skills to be able to survive in that environment.
I'd like to pick up. I appreciate the investment in technology and all of that, but I would just simply say it's not the be all and end all. Okay, sometimes a hug is better than an iPad. Second,
why can you not have both? Why can you not have both? It needs to be.
Absolutely, you can have both.
But this can't just be about education anymore. We've got to look out with education. We've got to look at the contribution of health, of justice, of other services. I would ask the administration, which I appreciate is made up of lots of political parties who are on the panel tonight, to please use that funding to protect education budgets. That's what I've done. I've had my battles at the cabinet table over it, and I would please ask you to go back to your officers and think again about some of these proposals. I don't think they're palatable to the people of Fife, and I don't think they're palatable to the teachers who work in our schools and the staff.
But what good is an iPad if I have a severely autistic student who becomes dysregulated so quickly that I don't know. I need to understand what the fine thought process was behind let's invest in assets before people.
We are 1,688 teachers fewer today than we had employed in our education service in 2007. And we wonder why teachers are overworked to the extent that they are. So we have a surplus in terms of the numbers of qualified primary teachers, but across a number of secondary subjects and geographical areas, we have shortages. But the bottom line is all of this comes down to investment. It all comes down to investment. And in order for there to be that investment, there has to be the political will in the first place to make it happen. And it has to be political will on the understanding that education, investment in education is investment in our community, in our people, in our communities, and in our whole society for the long term. And none of that is money wasted. None of it.
I think that the lack of provision for additional support needs is stretching every area of school life.
And we talk about political will for making education better, but it feels a little bit arbitrary to be talking about how we can do that when we're failing even to meet the same kind of spend that other councils and other parts of Scotland are spending.
Can I also say that I find it quite astounding, frankly, that Councillor Walker has pretended he doesn't know why we're having the iPads or one-to-one digital devices when the Cabinet Secretary has promised it as a Scottish Government policy. We are delivering the policy that hasn't been funded. Yep. It is the right thing to do so our children get the right tools to do the right job. It's not mutually exclusive to ASN needs. It's not instead of, it's as well as. It gives us the opportunity for better engagement, it gives us better opportunities for accessibility, and it is the right product. We went to see it in Borders, went to see it in North Lanarkshire. We are 12th in delivering this. Fife kids don't deserve to be left behind, so we're not doing it. Now, you might think it's frivolous. I don't think it is. I think it's necessary.
Whether I say it in September or November or January or February, the argument's going to be the same, that the education budget in Fife is not enough.
We need parents' help to get the message across to the councillors that we need more support in our classroom for every day and every child. I teach 5 parents in 5 schools, and that's what I'm standing up for.
We're not in some far-flung part of the country where it's difficult to access. We're right sort of as central as you can possibly get. So why are we short in those teacher numbers? And I think that is something that I'd be looking for some further scrutiny of within the council.
So if we want things to be good for our young people, if we want things to be good for our learners, we have to also get it right for our teachers and for our lecturers. The EIS and our members have hope and conviction in calling for much greater investment in Scottish education from national government and from local government, and for that funding to be ring-fenced for education. Because we value education as the cornerstone of a more prosperous, socially just and equitable society, and as the absolute bedrock of democracy and an essential component of social cohesion and ultimately of peace. So in a nutshell, spend on education to save across multiple services otherwise. And we believe, the EIS believes, that there are very high human, social and economic costs of ignoring that wisdom. And I would urge all the politicians here to work within their parties, to work cross-party, to work with national government, to work with local government, so that that wisdom is not ignored and that we can do better for our children, young people, communities, and for all of us for the longer term.
I believe that teachers, other school staff, parents, and most importantly, each and every pupil deserves better. I give the elected members a challenge. Let's make Fife spend per pupil the best in Scotland, not the worst. In the future, invest in the future of children and young people of Fife. Thank you.